feeling of disrespect. Yes. You know, that's why I've actually had to talk to Octavian of how he just allows her to get a little too comfortable. And I was just like, well, how do you allow this insolence? You know, but I love the fact to where she almost, you can see she's like his kryptonite.
The thirst doesn't end with the credits. I'm Omegia Keys, and this is Donors After Dark. Warning, there are spoilers ahead, but first, here's the recap.
Previously on Donors.
Who is this? You bought a snack.
Uncle, this is Nyla James.
You put your mark on this one.
Their body chemistry is weaker, but they learn ways to fight and are crafty.
We did what you asked. Now where's our money?
If my tribe would have known.
Funika Tafu, Lufaklad Atiahait, Masay Shuma Duati.
Welcome back. We made it to the final episode
Yes.
of the season. The season finale. The season finale for Donors. It was a lot going on this episode. A whole lot. The dynamics have changed a little bit. So I want to welcome you back, Tobias. And Nyla, I swear I keep on wanting to say Lu'Cious. It's so hard for me to say Tobias
I keep
now.
telling you that's my name now.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I've had so many people stop me that have seen it or even just seen the trailer, and they say, "Hey, Lu'Cious, what's going on, Lu'Cious?" I say, "Hey, I answer to it."
I love it. I absolutely love it. But the season finale, I want to talk to you first, Tobias,
Okay.
because every episode, Octavian he's fawning over this human.
Yes.
Yes.
What was it like when she actually walked into the throne room for that first time? What were you thinking as an actor? Like,
So many things, because and Tanisha, she's such a talent, and she's such a beauty, such a natural beauty. When she came in, and it was almost like, you have, with vampires, when they get like this sort of aroma, or there's something about it which is really intriguing. That's why I drugged it out. And I was like, oh man, okay, I see, nephew, I see you. I see where she caught your attention. But I was like, I still wanted to know, what is it about her? And it made me want to find out for myself, So definitely I'm plotting to test her and see why should we bring her into our coven.
Yeah, that's good. How did you feel walking into the throne room the first time?
And walking into the throne the first time and seeing this man of this stature on this throne, I'm like, okay, so what am I walking into? And then his first words, or a few of his first words, was, I was considered a snack.
Yes.
I was considered the snack, which to me was like very degrading. You judge me. Okay, he must be looking at my shoes, which
Oh God, why did I not notice them raggedy shoes until right now?
Now you see my point,
I
right?
was going to do it.
I swear we gonna burn them little ugly shoes.
All the options
My
are
Nyla shoes.
Yeah, them frumpy, dumpy
I
shoes,
wore my Nyla
the
shoes
Nyla shoes.
just for y'all.
Oh gosh, I hate them shoes. Okay.
Just for you, just for you.
You sound like a mama now.
Yeah.
But yes, just to at this point, I'm like, what am I really walking into? And although I'm falling for her at this point, I'm head over heels for my man, your nephew. And to walk into this situation, I'm like, what's going on? And how am I being? I'm not going to be accepted here. I'm not going to be accepted here again. Here we go, because he just called me a snack.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The snack of the century.
I think this scene does a good job to really portray how powerful that you can deliver to the audience without saying words. The terror and the frightened feelings that you can see on her face when she came in was such a great job. She just looked like she was terrified.
Yes.
And Lu'Cious, he really plays on that. He doesn't say much, but when he speaks, he demands attention. You know, but it's a lot more with the facial expressions and the scoffs and the snarls. And that's what most people, you know, when a person is powerful, they don't have to speak much.
Right.
You know? So it's the lack of words that's the intimidating factor. But you guys just did a great job of course, when the Armigers came in and being able to see that level of power and then working as unity, and you know, you coming in the circle, and I'm just like, well, who is this? You know, I've picked the top option for him.
Yes,
I only do opulence, you know. So
the creme
when
de la creme.
he just gets this common woman.
This basic.
Yes.
The basic.
But I had to also notice that there was something very intriguing about her. So, you know, and of course in my mind, you know, I'm plotting to find a little bit more.
Right. Which leads me to the boardroom scene after that. She's in the coven. You know, you've seen her in the throne room. Yes. Then she has to go, she busts in with Soren in the middle of a board meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can imagine.
The glasses gotta come off for that.
You can imagine my I don't know, just this feeling of disrespect. Yes. You know, that's why I've actually had to talk to Octavian of how he just allows her to get a little too comfortable. And I was just like, well, how do you allow this insolence, you know? But I love the fact to where she almost, you can see she's like his kryptonite. You know, so you see he kind of softens when she comes around. So I'm just like, you know, but I love the fact to where as time goes by, I think Lucy starts to see her that maybe she might not be a bad option for our family. So
one of my favorite things from that boardroom scene is when Octavian snatches up.
Oh my goodness!
Snatches up the brother and the New Haven coven, like over her.
Yes.
But that was wonderful. The look on Lucy's face, that like you were like.
Excuse me,
that
the
look,
ultimate. Did you just disrespect me? Like
that
what
look
did
was
you just do?
That look was hilarious with that snatch, and he's over there like, yes.
Back up.
Proud uncle moment.
That was one of my favorite scenes, just to see just him take charge and get up and take just the snatch of the neck and that little look at you. I was like, oh, that was one of my favorite scenes. That entire action, your face.
So I guess that's why she was saving herself. That's what she was.
Yeah, see, look, you know, hey, that's what they were talking about. She was saving herself. Look, she went, you know, go big or go home.
That part.
Yeah, she absolutely loved that. So, you sent the Armigers out, and you don't want to put your nephew in harm's way, but this episode 6, everybody was getting it. Everybody was knee deep fighting in this episode. When you saw that happen, I mean, I know you told them to go do it, but how did you feel after actually seeing it?
Pleasure. It's definitely one of the things to, you know, just how you say you mess around and find out. That was definitely the case, because you know, the Corbridge family, we're the oldest, the strongest, and I think sometimes people need that reminder. So I love the fact to be able to see them doing as I insisted.
And then this one right here has to be saved. Well, because it ended up you walked in at the end of episode 5.
Yes.
You walked in, you know, I gotta go to work. You're living in a mansion. Living a life, and you're still like, I gotta go to
I gotta
go to
Nyla.
school.
I gotta go work. I gotta go get my look.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not be
wanna
trapped
work.
up in here all day. I have things I need to still do.
You went, but when you went, a newly turn was in there.
Mess breaks loose.
Yeah.
This is
What was in your mind? Like, what was going to your mind? The act. Well, hold on. I'm gonna say what was Nyla thinking first, and then I'm gonna say what was Tanisha thinking. What was Nyla thinking when she went in there? Because it was hilarious. Even though I wrote it, it was still hilarious to see you go in and you looking at him like, oh, okay. Then you look at Six and you like, you know what? I'm about to take you. Like when you balled your little fist up, but you balled your fist up to Six. So that was so hilarious. Yes. What was she thinking?
I'm not going out of here easily. If you're going to take me, it's going to be a fight. You know, we are going down. Somebody, I don't care how it happens, but I'm not leaving easily. You know, I need to get back to what I do, and I need to be here. So seeing Six, I was like, okay. I have a better chance, I think, of getting her than I do him. But she made that clear that wasn't the case. What did she say? It would have been a flawed decision. But yes, I mean, and growing up like that, you know, you're not going to let anybody take you down easy. You fight until you are gone. You know, you do not give up, and that's what was going through my mind and Nyla's mind. So,
but with that, the next scene, you're in a vehicle. With her, it's hilarious because you're like clutching, you're clutching the whole time, but you're still in the vehicle. With walk me through that.
There's just a moment where first of all, Six, I'm like, okay, I don't want her to see that I'm intimidated by her, and I don't know what or who she is because she is walking out into the daylight. They're not supposed to be doing that, I thought. So why is she still alive? Who is she? And now she's putting me in this vehicle. Okay, where am I going? And then to just see her, just her reaction towards me, she's just tunnel vision, explaining a little bit about, what did she say? She said something that was after the flawed decision. It was after she gave that flawed decision line. I was like, okay, why did she say that I'm not going to be living, or what is she saying? Is that a threat? What's happening? But I was intimidated by her. I don't know who she was, why she come to get me, who are we trying to save, where are we going? But she was very intimidating in that scene, in real life. Like her tone, her voice, her essence, everything about her. She really stood her ground in that role.
Yeah. I think it was beautiful too because it put me a lot in the mind of when I first met Six. So I know that she was just terrified, but she stood her ground. She's like, I might be a tiny peon compared to what you could do to me, but I ain't just gonna go down easily.
No, we're not going down easily.
I like that, and it put me in the mind. And a lot of times, you know, you could watch, and that's the thing I love about series or with movies. You watch them several times, and you'll be able to take back different things. It's like, wow, that really played well off of that earlier scene, and almost like it foreshadows.
Yes.
The show, and that's choices. You know, you'll see as the story develops of why Six actually likes. Six is intrigued by Nyla, which you kind of see when she drops the luggage in the room and how she's eyeing you on the way out the room.
Yes.
It's like Octavian is there, but she can't take her eyes off of you.
She does not break.
Leaving the room. Yeah.
She does not break. And I'm like, yes, she is an interesting one. You know, and I'm intrigued by her as well. There's something different about her.
Yeah.
And what is it?
How was it for you as an actress, though? Like, some actresses, they get uncomfortable when, you know, Nyla had to be the frumpy one in this. As you say, but for me, she's comfortable. She's the most comfortable on set. But when you're playing against an actress who is, you know, in the battle, I mean, Six is a beast, and she's a vampire, so she's sexy, but I can't even say she's sexy, but it's like that's some badass outfit she had on.
Like, she's badass. That's exactly what she is. I'm sorry, I'll let you finish your question, but yeah, she is.
No, but I was saying, as an actress, how was it you being, you know, in those settings with her? Like I said, because I have worked with actresses before that once someone else gets next to them and they're, you know, they're dressed up and their character isn't, they kind of diminish themselves, but it's like you rose to it every time. Like, so how is that as an actress? How were you able to do that?
I think really just taking those moments to look at her and see who she is, what she is. I really wanted to know more about her. Sometimes if I look into somebody's eyes and really just try to feed into their soul, it helps me just kind of relax into our scenes. And I don't know, but for some reason, it takes me outside of of not being authentic to my role, because I'm looking at them and I'm feeding off of their energy, what they're giving me. And I think the eyes tell a lot, and she gave that. She gave me eyes, she gave me face, she gave me voice. And, you know, that's how I pull into it and tap in and just pull into who I am. It just comes out. I don't even know how to explain it. But when you have another artist that gives you what you need, it's so much easier to just be in that moment.
Very true.
You know.
Well, speaking of that, because now that I think about it, when you walked up in the throne room, frumpy dumpy. You walked in there, now that I think about it, you had your little ugly shoes on, with your little ugly sweater, walking into the throne room.
Yes.
Everybody sniffing at you, like.
Yes, I had something
Was
to
it
prove.
how did it feel as the actor? Skip Nyla.
Yes.
How did it feel as Tanisha in that moment? Everybody else was dressed to the nines.
Dressed to the T.
Yeah.
In this light blue woven thing. Everybody's dressed up. So the only thing I can think to do, even as Tanisha, is okay. You think about what your parents say. I don't care what you got on. You have your confidence. You put your chest out and walk with a straight back. So that's like one of those things. You bring all those skills. You bring those things you learn, you know, growing up. You bring those into your role as well, into your character. You know, you don't show the fear.
Yes.
You know, you might feel it, but you don't show it. It's almost like your parents should say, look, you run, you go outside, and if you run back in, if somebody trying to beat you up, you better not come back in this house. You better not come, because I'm going to get you if you come back in this house. It's like, that's the mentality I have to have in those roles.
Did you see her outfit before she walked in?
Yeah. I tell you, see, and I put so much work into finding the perfect match for my nephew. But no, I think that she was a great choice for this character. And it's almost, and once you've been in a role for a character for so long, it's almost like certain parts of you kind of merge with this character. And, you know, you always have to be kind of cognizant of the fact to be like, okay, with these vampires, they can read my thoughts. You know, so I cannot walk in here and let them know that I'm intimidated. I got to own mine, and this is what I want. So I need to be able to step into it. So I think the fact that I'm able to sense that, and I'm just like, well, you should feel intimidated. You should feel minimal in comparison to all the people that you are surrounded by, these vampires. And the fact that I can tell that you're terrified by me, but not to the fact that you feel that you don't belong. And I think I find that intriguing.
And I think with that scene too, the layered dynamics of it, because we have this amazing still of her, like, you're on the throne facing this way, but when you call the armatures up, like, I'm afraid of you, but now, and she's looking back, like,
like
over her shoulder. That's a perfect still moment, because, like, you see the throne, you see her scared of everybody, you know, behind her. At the same time, it was a lot going on.
It was.
Had a lot going on.
I think that's one of those.
Like, where's my life going to be at the end of this? You know, because they're sniffing me out. What is happening here?
I think it's one of the scenes that I will remember. You know, you take bits and pieces from every project, and it was hilarious because when I called out the armatures, my guards, they're supposed to have my back and they're shaking. How does that work? I said, man, I'm gonna need y'all to just move out the way. I got it. But oh man, just a beautiful set, beautiful scene.
The set was incredible.
Yeah.
Just from the coloring to it was just a beautiful set. It just really fed into the scene. It gave us what we needed. Just when you have that location, that ambiance, and the feel of like royalty, just the even from the velvet on the seats to your throne, it was just a beautiful location, beautiful set. General.
Yeah. And, you know, after that, she was up in Octavian's quarters.
I was.
Let's hold up. Yes, but before you can get comfortable, Lu'Cious decided to send a woman to the room.
Yes, you did.
What was that about?
The nerve
what
of
was,
you to
what
even...
was that about?
What was that about,
One of the women
Lu'Cious?
that he said he already didn't want, you sent her to the room anyway.
You gonna send another.
What was that about?
You know, it's one of the things that Lucy's going to get what he wants. And in my mind, it's what I say. And at the end of the day, are you sure? Look at what I have provided for you, and this is what you choose. You know, so it was one of those things to be able, like, we really test him to see how devoted he was to this choice this commoner that he came across. So that was me being a little devious, because one of the things, if you ever notice, Lu'Cious is always pondering. He's always thinking.
Yes.
He's always calculated. I'm a very meticulous, analytical vampire, you know. So what it is that I need to do to be very intentional in my thoughts and how I want to carry out. So I wanted to see if I could be a little
Start some mess.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
what you want to do. You want to start some
What
mess.
was going through Nyla's mind when she said what does your character think when she's because
my
we had fun. We
goodness.
had fun with that.
That was such a fun scene. It was. But I'm walking in and I'm like, how dare this man? I know who did it, but how dare you bring this heifer to our bedroom now? You know? This is my man. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to set me up? And what is she doing here? And I'm thinking, oh, well, I can take her. You know, I can take her.
So,
But in my mind, I'm like, how dare he knows that I'm here? Why would you do something like that? And now my mind is triggered by you. Now I have eyes on you.
yeah. So
And
what
what's
did
happening?
what did you think was Soren Vamp then though? Like,
That scene was so great. So when Soren back in, I'm like, okay, he's here again. And so that's when everything started coming together for me. Just the character, Soren vamping in. Okay, so how significant are you, Octavian? You're always being protected. So your uncle's protecting you, Soren's protecting you. So we need to talk. I need to know who this is at that point. You know. So I
I
don't
love that.
know.
You was like, who's the big guy? You was like, oh, this song.
he did
Soren
do it.
Vamp.
Yeah, he did. He did just play it off like, yeah, that's just hey.
Yes, that is just, and he just always appeared. He was always appearing, and he was there for anything Octavian needed. And so yeah, that was hilarious.
I felt it was funny because the woman didn't know. She was an extra in the coven, and she didn't know she was gonna be that woman until she got there. So that was funny, but you can see the change in her when she got to get sit in the makeup chair, stuff like that. It's just that's one of the things that I love is upgrading extras
did such an
to
amazing
features
job.
or to them having lines. That woman loved that. I'm
Did
for the
such an
love of God
incredible
right
job.
now. Her name is, I can't think of it right now. And it's please don't take that. If you're watching this, please do not take that to heart. We had so many
Yes,
people
she was
on set,
incredible.
and I get my kids' names mixed up sometimes. So, like, please don't take
Well,
that
you
to
have
heart. But
180
yeah,
names to remember still. But
yeah, I had a bunch, but she had a beautiful soul, and
Yes,
she
she
was
did.
she was so ready to when she popped up. I'm your new
Ready.
donor.
And I said,
Like,
played
you
it to
couldn't
the
tell her.
T.
You couldn't tell her that she was not the chosen
No,
one
she was the
in that
one.
moment, and it was so funny when she was screaming on the way out from Soren. That extra the weave
the little
to get out the room.
zigzagging through.
That was it.
I've said so many times, like, our background was amazing.
Oh goodness, yes.
I look at the very little, every detail. I don't miss a detail. And even when coming in the throne room and I'm seeing their reactions, and they were so locked in. I think that was
engaged,
beautiful.
yes.
And the fact to where a person can move up and become a bigger character, should I say, in a role. Sometimes when they're hungry and they've been working for it and they've been watching,
Yes.
so sometimes you can find like the most dedicated artists
Yeah.
that
the
way.
most
So
committed, yeah.
absolutely, it was beautiful.
And it was
Speaking of that, so many of the background showed up to the premiere.
Yes.
That was,
Oh,
and you couldn't
goodness,
look.
that
You
was
couldn't tell them that they
wonderful.
were not
Oh,
the stars, and I
absolutely.
loved it. I
I
loved
love
every
it.
moment of it.
I
They
seen
were
one.
so
He was
happy.
taking the video. He's like, "Yes," and I'm walking the red carpet. You see me walking the red carpet,
Love
over
it.
here? And I love that because of the fact that, like I said, I don't feel like, oh, this is a lead. This is a person that's important.
We all made this.
We all would need it to make this
come
happen.
together.
So to see them really adopt it and fall in love with it and be proud of it. I had some that was reaching out to me, if I made a reel or something I shared on my social media, can you please tag me? I want to share it to my friends. I want people to come. And so, so I love that.
I love it that they were asking. I mean, a lot of them, they reached out to me asking me, could they even come before we did, Kathy made, we talked about it, and Kathy reached out to Aaron to send them a message for them to come. But prior to that, they were already reaching out. Like, soon as we posted the premiere, like day one, they asked, could they come? And to me, like, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you be able to come? But then I had to put myself in their shoes. When I was on that side, I never got those invites. So now, like, but for me, seeing it, I'm like, of course you're invited. But I didn't, I had to go back 10 years ago. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's why they asked, because they don't get those invites. So I'm just thankful to be able to share that with them.
Coming from, moments where we all went through that phase, and still sometimes, I appreciate the fact that, that you, Kathy, the production company, made everybody feel like we were a part of. I mean, we were all a part of something special. But the fact that we all ate the same room and did the same thing, I mean, that's just something that somebody will always remember. Because, we remember being separated. You get different food from everybody else. You get to sit at a different table. Or, no, don't come this way. It's roped off. And so for you to be able to open a different door for everybody and make us all feel special, I think that's what made a lot of people want to come in and really give 100% as well.
That speaks volumes. I mean, you can even look at some of the photos, and Mimi made sure she had photos with everyone. You've seen with the Armigers, you've seen with the, like with you, Six, Dante, myself, but background, extras, everybody was included. She made time for everyone, and you see that you don't always get that on a set, and I think that's wrong, because everybody plays their part.
Yes.
Well, it didn't really hit me of how big of an impact I was making until we had filmed the donors HQ scene, and we had the protesters out there. That day, we were at the studio, and they were off in the back. So I went out there and I went out there. We made it a point to speak to everybody. I do this anytime we have background. I make sure I go to holding and I talk to the background. I'm always gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna have to find, I want to make sure that they're okay. I go, but then after that, we filmed outside. A little bit, and it was insane, crazy that big shot. We had the drones going. The big protest outside.
The big protest.
Yeah, that whole thing was totally insane. Kathy out there protesting, like Kathy in the mix. Kathy out there stirring up trouble. They leader. But I had set my camera down, and I went inside and I had used the bathroom. And like, I kept hearing people like outside the bathroom door. I'm like, okay, well, maybe somebody has to use the bathroom. I stepped out the bathroom. There was a line of extras wanting to shake my hand. And it was like,
goodness
gracious. That's when I really felt like we really, really had something, because we had, we wrapped. I'm like, all right, we gone. But it was like, I really thought they had to use the bathroom. So I'm trying to hurry up and, rush and get back, to let somebody else in. But I was also like, dang, it's another bathroom. Like, why are you by this one? But when I came out, they literally wanted to shake my hand. And that meant so much to me, because there's so many times in this industry that people are overlooked. You can be, from the extras to the PAs to crafty people, overlook people all the time. So that meant a lot to me, that they actually wanted to shake my hand and thank me for being there. That like meant the world to me. And same with the ones in the throne room. They were like, we're locked in. Look, they were so proud to be like, we're established. We are the Corvich vampires. We're core. We're like,
I made the trailer.
No, and there was one, she was so sweet. She was like, do they have separate food for us? I was like, no. I was like, no. I said, she puts this is for everybody. She's like, what?
Yeah, they do. And I remember being treated like that.
And I always say, I think some of the the best directors are ones that have gone through the process, that they've been actors, that they've been, or they still currently act. You know, they've been background, because you know what it is that you need as a talent, and you know the different things that they come across when they're not treated the same.
Right.
And I've been on set, you know, when I first started out as doing background, there's people since then, the casting directors, you never know where a person
you
may
never
end
know
up,
where they're
so-
going.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I know it's always hilarious to me when people first get there earlier in the day though, and I'm off in some corner, you know, looking at the sides, and they'll come over and they're kind of like asking me a question. I'll be like, you know, okay, give me a moment. They don't know who I am in that moment because I'm not in the director's chair.
Yes.
I'm literally trying to hide, and somebody always finds me. And that's what it's somebody just coming in. And they're like, can you show me where the holding is? I'm like, oh, yeah. You know, at first I was like, give me a moment, because I thought they wanted something else. Well, can you show me the holding? And then I'm walking them to the holding. And then, you know, the AD team is like scurrying, trying to like, hold on. Wait. We got it. And the person I'm walking with is like, oh, okay. And they're like, that's the director.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. All right, I'm gone. But I think those moments are hilarious to me, too, because for me, I'm just me.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just me,
amazing,
and all I want to do, like, I do have my moments, like, yes, when we're eating and stuff, that I'm in my head, but I'm thinking about the setup for the next episodes and stuff like that. It's not that I'm trying to be like, ooh, get away from me, but I'm processing everything that we have going on. So I do need my moments, but once I come out of those moments, I do want to be able to speak to everybody, and I'm just thankful that I had great actors who also understood that, and they weren't given that bougie air, you know, because that's hard for me too. Well, I would have fired you. I ain't gonna lie for that, because I don't want that on my sets. If you have that mentality that you're far above everybody else, even if your character is like, you know, because we know Marion gonna stay in character, but Marion is going to speak to you in that character, but she's not gonna, you know, whatever her character is, she's gonna talk to you like that character, but she's still bringing you in. That's still her bringing you in.
yes.
Too. But I cannot deal with the actor or an actress that has that bougie mentality. I'm too good to, you make a change happen. Oh, well, I can't adapt to this change that happened. I can't do this. Oh, I need this. I need that.
Yeah.
We are a small team.
Yes.
So you guys make it very easy.
Going back to, you never know where you're at, you know, for a while I was working behind the scenes as a script supervisor, and that's how, and Kathy, she saw something in me that I had been, when I say I love being a creative, I love being an actress, but who would have thought that she would see something in me as a script supervisor that led me to working with somebody who I had my eyes on for quite some time, you know, so you never know who you're going to run into, and to be grateful for these moments to be casted, not only in Fractured and Cup, but to be casted in something that is your baby, your vision, something you've been working on for a long time, and to be seen by someone who I didn't even think had any idea of what I did.
Right.
It's just a beautiful, to this day, I can't even say thank you enough. I'm so grateful, and when I think about the moments and opportunity I was given, yes, that's when I do get sensitive. I ain't sensitive like that, but I do.
Nyla actually was a very hard one for me. Out of all the people in, you know, all the actors, Nyla for years, that I think she was the hardest for me to get somebody that can, you know, really pull that off. I was not seeing anybody, but the instant that Kathy had, you know, Tanisha audition for other stuff, for the, you know, the casting, and I seen her, I'm like, you know, you've been talking about this girl, but yeah, she can't act. But once I saw her on Fractured, I immediately saw her. I was like, that's my Nyla. That's my Nyla, like right there. Because she has so much range, you know, because Fracture, she had to be two people. Essentially, you know, she had to be two people for that. It showed her range. But it wasn't just her acting, it's her compassion on set.
Yes.
She's a joy to be around on set. That made it a lot easier because I was just thinking like this character, I have to be with this character for a long time. And I don't want to be around somebody that's for a long, I'm trying to get rid of you. Look, if you had the wrong actress, I'm trying to kill Nyla long. At that point you gotta go.
Yeah.
So it was very worried about.
Talent will get you in the door, but character keeps you there. So I don't care how talented you are. No one wants someone that's not good to work with. So, and I know we have to go, but just wanted to say this is one of the most professional sets that I've been on. I've done all types of different projects, but the level of professionalism, everything is in order. You and Kathy work so cohesively, and it's never a time to where you don't make time. Even if you're in the moment, you don't have a moment then, you'll still come back and say, is there something I can help you with, or how do we get there? So that speaks volumes.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to end it with this. What was your favorite moment of the entire series? I'm going to start with you, Tobias, since you started it off. What's your favorite moment of the series?
Activate the homages. Absolutely. Because I just love the fact to where with my guards, Octavian, everybody shivered. They was like, you sure? Are you sure? I said, yes, I'm not playing anymore. That definitely my moment. And then I think you did a great job with the casting, because when Six headed that, Phaedra owns that role. The guys, they did a great job together.
Phaedra owns that role. My goodness, I have too many.
Well, look, come on, let's get some of them.
There was one where you had everybody in the theater jumping. I think it was Activate the Armistice. We were just talking about it earlier. But you had everybody in that theater jumping out of their seat. It was Activate the Armistice. It was like, oh my Lord, what did he say do?
Because actually, matter of fact, when I looked at the script and I called Mimi up, I said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna try something with this. So she was like, okay. And I think it's good when you're able to build that relationship, with your director and be able to know where they're going to go with it. It's a beautiful thing because they're allowing you to be authentic.
No, that's one of them. But when Dante walks back into that house and puts his hand up on that wall,
you have been chosen.
I said, okay. I think that's another one of my favorite things. Just the way his poise when he walks in, his little persona. He's like, yeah, I'm back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he was feeling it.
That was such a wonderful. I love that part. Yeah, it was good.
But definitely a pleasure. So excited to see how everybody, like the feedback I'm getting so far has been like amazing. So to see everything that Donors is going to do, all that is for the future for these characters, and I'm just so glad that we were able to be a part to bring your baby to life. To see someone pour into something for 10 years, and I can only imagine the type of roadblocks and obstacles and frustrations and things that have come across your path to stop you from bringing this to fruition. Just excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your baby's out.
It definitely is. And with that, we come to the end of not just episode 6, but the end of the season. I want to thank you for watching Donors After Dark, the after show.